Hey everybody, it's Smoke with some Gears of War 3 TDM ranked gameplay on Mercy, and in fitting fashion, I'm starting off on the ground. This game has been a lot of fun. It's difficult for me because I'm not bad at it, but I'm not good at it. And for me, when I play a lot of these games, I do well. And there we go, on the ground again. So it can be frustrating at times because I know I can play better than I have been. I mean, my numbers are halfway decent. I think I'm in the 1.8 KD range and about a 2 win-loss. A lot of that's running solo too, so it's not bad, but I just feel like I should do a lot better. But I know I've come a long way. I really didn't do Gears of War 2 multiplayer. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that I played. Gears 1 multiplayer, I played a lot of it. I actually did play a lot of it. And I think my KD in that was actually less than 1. So it's really surprising that I stuck with it as long as I did, even though I wasn't doing well. But I'm doing a lot better in this game. I'm starting to figure out what works and what doesn't. It's more difficult with this game playing solo than some other games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty you can play solo, and if you're good you can carry your team, you can do what's needed in order to get the victory. In this, there you go, major failage on my part. Gosh, look around sometimes, buddy. But in this game, if you don't have teammates, like in that instance, chances are you'd be running with a wingman, you'd have somebody near you. Chances are you're not going to be snuck up on like that, and you may get at least a couple seconds warning from teammates that you actually know so that you can react in that situation. So playing this game by yourself, it's tough. You don't have anybody to rely on, and since it is more of a tactical shooter, if you're playing with a bunch of randoms, you can throw tactics out the window. They're not going to be there. It's very difficult to coordinate tactically with random people. But I make do. I make do with what I can. I try to stay near somebody, or at least make sure that there's somebody behind me at all times. That way, at the very least, if the guy behind you gets popped, you know that the enemy's kind of flanking you. But at the same time, with a game like this, it's important to be able to flank. And if you're flanking and you're the only guy who's flanking and you got 4 guys on your team who are all fighting for the sniper rifle, and you flank, maybe you kill one guy, but then you have absolutely no support. But in this game, I actually do halfway decent. Nothing spectacular, and don't be surprised if the videos I put up on here are mediocre at best. It's I was hoping to be able to put up more gameplay by this point, but unfortunately I don't know, maybe it's not by my standards. I haven't been putting up numbers that I would think would be YouTube worthy or gameplay commentary worthy. And maybe that's just me having my expectations a little bit higher than what they should be. So I definitely will try to get a better sampling of my gameplay up on here, just because I don't think it's realistic to only put up your gameplays where you're going 15-2. And if that were the case, I'm not going to be putting up a whole lot of gameplay. So I do hope that y'all put up with my mediocre gameplay. And here we go, we get some nice one-shot gameplay. But I do try to do a variety of things when I do play. I try to get a variety of weapons and tactics, and They don't always work, and maybe I'll do that too. Maybe I'll put up some gameplay where I try to do something and I let you know what my aim was, what I was hoping to accomplish, and we can get to see that fail. But I did want to go ahead and at least put up some Gears of War gameplay, because I have been playing that quite a bit, and I am pleased with the game as a whole. I know there's a lot of flack with the sawed-off shotgun. I see both ends of that argument. I think to an extent it's a little too easy to use. I've seen guys use it on me where literally it doesn't even look like they're aiming at me, and whether it's the spread or the animation, but I get taken out with absolutely no effort whatsoever. I've used it quite a bit too, and I can see how it's definitely easier to get that gib versus the Gnasher, but at the same time, you know what, with the Gnasher, like this, you got a little dance with the Gnasher, and you got, what, 8 shells to work with, whereas with the sawed-off, yeah, you've got that 1 shell, and then you've got a really long reload time. So I can see both ends of the argument. Maybe people can go ahead and leave me some comments on the pros and cons of each. But other than the sawed-off, I've got nothing to complain about with this game. It's a lot of fun. I guess my only complaint would be that I'm not very good at it, or I'm not as good as I'd like to be. But there's still time. I'm starting to slow it down. I think that was a big problem with the transition from an arcade shooter like Call of Duty to something more slow and tactical. You gotta figure out what you need to do to slow your game down, and slowing things down definitely helps a lot. So if you guys watched this far, I appreciate it as always. Feel free to go ahead and leave me some comments, some tips maybe on what I can do to not suck so badly. And take care, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Total obliteration. Acceptable.